Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I'm so fucking excited to do this. All right, really quick, what I'm going to do, because I'm streaming from StreamYard right now, and sometimes it can get a little difficult. So what I'm going to do is just take a moment really quick to get the live feed. There it is. There it is. All right. We're here. We're live. Hello. How are you all? Thank you for all being here. Feel free to comment in the comments. Tell me your name. Well, you don't have to tell me your name because I actually see it. In StreamYard on the back end, I cannot see your name, just so you know. Like, for example, what just happened, this is what I see on my end. But luckily, I have my chat on here as well so that I can actually see people's names, because it gets complicated when we do streaming through things, because I'm streaming on YouTube and I'm also streaming on StreamYard. It's the whole thing. So hi, Sydney. Hello. Excited you're here as well. Super awesome. I'm so excited to be doing this live with you guys in this boot camp. Literally, guys, get ready. It is going to be, seriously, I'm honestly, like, I've been planning this out for the last 3 months, and it is, hi, Jasmine. It is the most incredible, like, I can't even tell you how beyond excited I am. I've been nervously counting down the days, a good nervous though, because this is essentially new information that I will be sharing for you. Hi, Julia. Julia says she's pumped over on Facebook. Hello. Hi, Claudiane. And this particular work that I'm bringing to the table, this particular boot camp, is just beyond anything I've ever essentially offered in this space. So I'm beyond excited. Hi, Amber. Amber says, hi, I'm super excited to do this boot camp after taking a deep dive into my human design. Yes, Amber actually was saying that she has been doing a deep dive in her own human design. So that is something I'm going to be covering today. I'll get into that in a second, but y'all are in for a treat. So first things first, what I want to say before we officially get started, hello. Hi, Rosie. Before I get started, I am going to just let you guys know, this was in a couple of the emails, but just for, we're all human here. So sometimes, the first thing you do is you click a link rather than like read everything through. So on the off chance that maybe you didn't read fully the email, make sure you guys have some note-taking materials. So a pencil, a pen, notebook, or if you're, an iPad or something that you're going to be writing some notes on. This particular bootcamp, I did not create a workbook. So this is just for you guys to take your own notes yourself. That's completely up to you. And secondly, I will be talking about human design. And don't worry, I'm going to give you a couple opportunities to do this. So since I'm going live right now, those of you that are with me live, if some people hop on live later on, I'll be repeating this a couple of times throughout the session, just on the off chance that new people will be kind of flooding in as the boot camp goes on. So make sure that you have your human design chart up. I thought my cat was in here for a second. Is she? Okay, good. She's not good. I was like, get the cats out of here. Today, I was like, no. A lot of you guys that have been doing like any trainings with me in the past know that my cats will just like come and bombard me. So luckily, my significant other, Tony, is here and he's taking care of them. So long, little kitties. Anyways, so getting your human design chart out, I'm going to be talking specifically about your type. That's all we're going to be talking about today. Nothing too crazy. Just know your type. So feel free, if you guys are here live and you do know your type, comment in the comment section. Let me know what your type is, if you have found that out yet. It's always interesting, but we'll get to that later. Okay. All right. I recently heard about my human design from my coach, but I haven't dove in yet. That's awesome. I don't know who said that. Kim. Hi, Kim. Hello. That's exciting. You're going to learn some really fun stuff here. I wonder who your coach is, but either way, it's incredible. I'm glad that you have a coach that's teaching that. Manifestor here. Sydney, you're a manifestor? Hell yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Okay, So Julia is a manifesting generator. Awesome. A 1-3 manifesting generator with Amber. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Love it. Love it. We have another manifesting generator. Claudian is a manifesting generator. Awesome. Ooh, this is going to be a juicy one. I can't wait. You guys are in for a real treat. Another manifesting generator. Lots of manifesting generators. Hell yeah. Get it. Get it. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start to share my screen. Got a little presentation for you guys. Hold on. Let me just make sure that's all up. Obviously, you guys can clearly hear me, which is great. I did not have to do a little check-in to see if you guys are able to hear me. Rosie is a manifesting generator. Man, this is just the manifesting generator round, isn't it? Those of you that are watching on the replay, let us know in the comments. What are you? What is your type? Let me know. I could talk about human design literally all day. Okay, so time to share my screen. Let's see. Share screen. Another manifesting generator. Damn, the manifesting generator just on fire today. Hell yeah. Manifesting generators, you guys are powerful. Powerful. Not that the other types are not, to say the least, but okay, so and this is exactly why I am making sure that I can see the screen, as well as, because now I can't see anything besides just what I'm sharing. So I'm paying attention to the chat below me. I have it on my phone here. Okay, all right, you guys. Day 1, Elevated Artist Bootcamp, Career Path Confidence. This is seriously so exciting. I can't tell you how many people have come to me asking a question that has something to do with the path of their career, meaning what direction do they take? Do they go in the film world? Do they go in the fashion world? Do they go in the bridal world? Do they move here? Do they move there? And so you're gonna be able to start finding out bit by bit more about yourself after today's session. Okay, so welcome to this boot camp. I am beyond thrilled. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for those that are here live. Thank you for those that are watching the replay. And in the future, those that are watching the replay page that we'll be putting together after this entire series is the live portion is over. So thank you. I applaud you and I honor every single one of you for taking the time to invest education in yourself. This is something that is so important in this industry now more than ever. And the thing that I love the most is I haven't really for a very long time taught artistry. I've always taught more on the business side, more the energetic side. And I did get into some artistry for a little while, like a little sprinkle here and there. But I love, like, something that I really wish would come more in this world is more of the energetics behind, confidence, the energetics behind marketing, the energetics behind you and how you approach your career. And also in the makeup and hair industry, the business side and the marketing side, I feel like there's so many people teaching artistry and just not enough people teaching the more business and marketing stuff. So I applaud you guys for essentially just putting that time into yourself for today. Okay, so say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're coming from. Where are you guys at? Where do you live? Where do you reside? I love building support and community of like-minded artists. So definitely say hi in the chat in the Facebook group, or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Feel free to share where you're from, what you do, why you're excited to be here, or whatever you want to say. Feel free to just comment. Here's the thing. I love building community. Community is such a huge part of who I am to my core. And I've been digging really deep into that, even more so than ever in this past few months. And I'm going to share with you that evolution that I have been experiencing in my life. But essentially, community to me means everything. When we can support one another in a really, really big way, it changes everything in the trajectory of our lives and our careers. And I've taken so many programs over the years, and whenever there's a a group or a community that I'm a part of that is all involved and supportive of one another, like I said, it changes everything. It changes the experience entirely. So definitely make sure you comment, start, connecting with one another, say hi to each other. Claudian, you are from Montreal. Awesome. Madeline, just moved from New Hampshire to LA. Congratulations. That's so exciting. It's big move. Love that for you. Oopsies, did not mean for that to happen. Awesome. Yep. And Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina. Sabrina is also from Montreal. If you are watching the replay, make sure that you are a part of the Facebook community, the Elevated Artists Facebook community, so you can join in on the chat there. And here's the thing, you guys. If you find value in what I share with you guys or experience any type of aha moments, take a screenshot. Tag me and share what that aha moment was, what that light bulb moment was. I want to hear from you guys. What were your biggest takeaways from this session, from this training? Screenshot it, do whatever, or just take a screenshot of yourself. I don't care, but share, tag me, let me know what was really, really helpful to you. I'll be dong. Sorry guys, typos. I'll be doing a very special giveaway for the live bootcamp, as well as in the future, once this live portion is over, don't worry, there's still hope for you guys. There's still something in it for you guys that are going to be watching this way after the last day. So our last day, the third day, is September 15th. So past September 15th, don't worry, I got you. We're going to be doing monthly giveaways for people that watch us on the Evergreen page that we put all of these replays on. So either way, still share those aha moments, share the moments of realization that you have with me, because I love to hear from you guys. So definitely don't be shy and make sure you tag me so I can see you and also add you to that drawing. Now, for those of you guys that are here today in the live portion, or you're with us during the live period up to the 3 days, basically you will be put into a drawing for day 1 and day 2 when and if you post and tag me those aha moments, moments of realization, light bulb moments, and you'll be put into a drawing. And for the giveaway for this live series is going to be a mentorship session with me, a one-on-one mentorship session with me. Now, in the future, you all essentially will still be able to be put into that drawing for every month afterwards, of the duration of it being live on a evergreen landing page. And basically every single month we're going to be switching it up. I've got several months in the books for some upcoming prizes. We're going to be giving away a couple pieces of makeup products, free access to courses that I offer, free readings with me or Reiki sessions with me. So there's a lot to come in the future. So don't worry if you don't get on the bus during the live period. We got you handled. We got you covered. All right. So you guys, what we will be covering today, it's going to be roughly 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the questions that kind of come through. Now, just so you guys know, I have Facebook up. I don't have StreamYard up to see the YouTube comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably not going to be paying too much attention to the comments until the Q&A afterwards. So for those of you guys that are here with me right now live, if you do have a question, either star it, put a star by it so I can go back into the questions, or just hold off until the end for the questions. You probably will have questions, most likely. Human design it's a lot, but just hold off till the end, or if you have to dip at the end, just put your question and just put asterisks, the star asterisks right next to the question, so I can just easily go through those questions once we wrap up at the end. We're going to be going over the number 1 secret to success, how to build your confidence, specifically your confidence, not confidence building for everybody. That's all size fits, one size fits all. No, your confidence, what your energetic type is, which essentially is your human design type, to ensure that you're on the right career path. It's going to be really interesting. Human design and how it can change your life. And then at the very end, like I said, we will be doing a Q&A session. So after this training, you will gain clarity on the direction of your career. You will understand your energy type and its strengths and weaknesses. You're going to learn how I grew my service sales at the current salon that I work at in Denver up to 263% in 30 days and 320% in 90 days. Those are real numbers. I literally, the 90 days I just calculated before this session. So it's all like current information, real information. And will be, after this training, you will essentially understand what could be causing your resistance in life and career. So we've all experienced like obstacles and resistance and frustration trying to like essentially manifest these goals or these dreams that we have, and sometimes we're met with immense amount of resistance, and sometimes it's actually the sign that the universe is showcasing you like, this ain't it, this isn't it, this is not for you, so go the other way. And also why we all need our very own approach to career development. And last but not least, you will get elevated. So as you guys can see, the theme that I've got going on is clouds, because I am here to elevate the fuck out of you up into the clouds. Like literally the sky is the limit. I want you to dream big, like go into the clouds. I want you to take your life and career to new heights that you've never ever thought that you could essentially do in the least amount of time possible. Okay. Now I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to have overnight success. So please understand that I'm not claiming here. I'm just saying these are bits of information that will change your life in a major way and will elevate you to new levels that honestly are just like, it's the most rewarding thing ever, ever, ever. All right. So where are you currently at in your career? Feel free to write this down in your notebook right now. Where are you currently at in your career? Now, today I'm primarily focusing on career, even though the information that I'm going to be sharing can be kind of transferred into different areas of your life. It's not just for career. Personally, I take human design and I cater it specifically to the career space and like the life purpose space, but it's still kind of an overall life thing. So please understand that I essentially am teaching you guys more specifically in career path. If you are, so pretty much the main people that are going to be watching this are hair artists, hairstylists, makeup artists, estheticians. Now, I've been coming across a lot of just freelancers in general. So if you're watching this, please understand as you're going through this replay, if you're watching the replay, and you're not technically a makeup artist, a hairstylist, an esthetician, somebody that works in the beauty industry, don't worry, it's still transferable, okay? It's not just like, this is only information for makeup artists. It's still transferable, all right? So feel free, make sure you write down, where are you at in your career? Do you feel good about where you're at? If you could rate, from a 0 to a 10, how do you feel about where you're at in your career? So feel free to write that down. All right, so I feel like the majority of you guys know who I am. This particular bootcamp round, we don't have as many newcomers. However, there's still a handful of you guys. And then those of you that are watching replays, you guys might be newcomers. So I just want to make sure that I explain who I am so that you guys can understand who I am and why why you should trust me with this information, okay? So I've been doing hair and makeup for about 15 years now as of this recording, and primarily working in the production world, so film, TV, pretty much, and advertising. And I've done everything from theater to runway, feature films, TV shows, commercials, international ad campaigns, celebrity work, and more. And I've honestly, I've done it all. And side note, I'll never forget, and this is you're probably going to hear me get really, really heated at some point in this training about the time that I was told very early on in my career by somebody that at the time I really put on a pedestal, that when you try to do it all, meaning you work both in film and television and effects and fashion, you're essentially becoming a jack of all trades, master of none, and at the end of the day, you look like a jackass. And I will never forget that she said that to this class that I was in. And I really took it to heart, to the point where I was like, oh my God, I can't do all of it. Like, I have to choose. And so I chose the film industry for so long. And I'm not sitting here saying like I regret what I did. I just regret taking somebody else's advice so deeply to the point where it affected every single decision that I made from that point on, until I hit a point where I realized like, fuck that shit. Like, you know, that's not necessarily true at all. I know plenty of people who are extremely, exceptionally successful that work in both worlds. So please know that. So I, throughout my career, have pretty much done it all. I worked in sports. I worked in, like I said, theatrical world, which that one's really fun. I actually really like theater a lot. I've worked in sitcom. I've worked in editorial. I've worked on runway. Like I've done so many different things. And just because I've done it all and I've become like this jack of all trades does not make me any less, you know, of a person or an artist. So that's just something I want to throw out there. Another thing that I've done is I've directed and produced a documentary called What It Takes. Most of you on the live session with me right now, you know, most likely about the documentary. And basically that documentary was showcasing the struggles that artists, that makeup artists go through to rise to the top. And basically that documentary brought me to create this very platform, which has actually changed names several times. So it was What It Takes, then it went to Manifesting Makeup Artists, and then it went to Manifest with Amber, and then it went back. It just went back and forth. And I'll get into that later about kind of that evolution, because there's a whole story with that. But that documentary is essentially what brought me into this space of mentorship and doing online education. And I am obsessed with it. I was in Los Angeles for 10 years and I moved to Denver about a year ago. And I wanted to get serious about my online business. That is essentially why I decided to move from Los Angeles to Denver, because essentially I was working so just, and all of you guys that are in production know how much time goes into, we're talking a 12-hour day is a short day. And 10 years of that, working on average 16-hour days, it started to really catch up with me in my body. And so that's just for me. And I'm going to share with you guys exactly why I experienced a crazy amount of burnout with trying to essentially work completely and utterly against my true designed energy type. I can't wait to share that story with you. So this, my online business has now been, we'll say publicly open, I guess you could say, for about 6 years now. And I wanted to start to focus on the online business. So I was like, I need to move states. Like I can't just move to San Diego. I can't even just like move to Las Vegas. Like I need to be like states away, or else I'm going to keep coming back and just keep working myself to the ground. So I moved to Denver. I host the Manifesting Makeup Artist podcast, and I am obsessed, like truly and utterly obsessed with sharing experiences, sharing knowledge, and being completely and utterly transparent around the freelancing and the online and business, like the content creation space. I honestly, like, you ask me a question, you're going to get an honest answer. Now, obviously, there's going to be personal information that I'm not going to give, but 99% of the time, I'm going to tell it how it is and just be super honest with you guys. So that's something that over the time that I've been in the mentorship space, I've gotten the most feedback on, is my full transparency. So here is why, where my life did a complete 180. So after moving from Los Angeles to Denver, there was obviously a period of time where I had to get settled in, which is, you know, common for everybody when you move from living somewhere for 10 years in, you know, the entertainment capital of the world to, you know, Denver, which Denver is amazing and I'm obsessed with it, but it's a change. It's an environment change in a major way. We, you know, my boyfriend and I, we don't have family here. We didn't have like a big group of friends that were here. So we literally were just like, let's go. Like we're kind of, we both intuitively knew that there was something bigger for us in Denver. And luckily we really listened to that intuition, and it was the best decision I ever made. I was thriving my career in Los Angeles right before the move. So in essence, a lot of people would be like, wow, you're really crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you move something that you were like so successful with? And, you know, it in essence doesn't really make the most logical sense. But I wanted to focus on my online business and get away from those excessive hours and just kind of take a break from that. And at first, everything was amazing once I moved to Denver. However, I was going back and forth still between Denver and LA. So I wasn't fully like immersing myself in the Denver world. I was still going back and forth between LA and Denver. So it was kind of like the first 4 months, maybe 5 months were great, but it was pretty much because I was still going back and forth and making my money that way. Now, fast forward to January. January was when everything completely changed. It was like a true, just like from 0 to 100. And I went from being financially stable and at the height of my career as a makeup artist and making the most money I'd ever made, doing the biggest gigs that I've ever worked with, working with the biggest A-list celebrities that I've ever come by. Like I was going from there to like in January, I was like, what is happening? Like I'm not getting booked. I started working at a salon back in November, and in January, everybody was getting COVID, so nobody was coming into the salon to get their haircut. And then all the productions in Denver were like, nope, we're just like not going to be working because a lot of people are getting COVID right now. So I experienced a financial dip, like a really severe dip, one that I hadn't seen in many, 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 many years. And it was terrifying. I had to get credit cards. And between January to April, it was pretty much consistently just non-existent with work and finances. It was awful. I experienced a deep depression and I had extreme anxiety. I felt paralyzed emotionally by the major dip in finances. I felt completely and utterly disconnected from my work as an artist and almost quit everything. Like everything. I almost stopped being a makeup artist. I almost quit the salon. I almost like threw the towel in with the online business. I was like done. I was just like, I need to do something else with my life. I need consistency. I need benefits. I need a salary. Like I was ready. So I almost went into marketing for a second. And I'm so glad that I didn't. But from January to April, that was the worst period of my life. Prior to that, that was in September, but I had a medical scare back in September due to burnout. And I'll touch on that later, but from January to April, the worst point of my life. And I was just ready. I was so disconnected and I wanted clarity in my life. So it was lonely. It was lonely. And it was, what's the word I'm looking for here? Just an experience that I had never really thought I would have so early on in the move, if that makes sense. So I felt defeated. I felt really defeated. I felt like, the beginning when we first moved, I was on a roll. And then all of a sudden, January to April, it was just like everything was taking me. I had to max out credit cards. It was rough. And then the universe worked its magic like a damn charm. And it always does this. The universe always shows up in such magical ways. I love it so much. I stumbled across a human design training that forever changed my life. This happened in May, the very beginning of May. I attended a human design masterclass with Phoebe Kuhn, and I'll go deeper into human design. We're not talking about human design just yet. I'm just sharing with you this experience that I had. And I've actually been studying human design since 2018. I was a part of a program that integrated it. But as you can see right here, it looks really crazy. So for those of you that are not as familiar with human design, it looks like Greek. It looks like a foreign language. And every time, like, I would go to look at my chart and try to read it and decipher it, I was always like completely puzzled and left clueless. I was just like, I don't understand this. So so that was in 2018, and I've pretty much just been scratching the surface of my own human design, but not doing anything with anybody else, not going deeper than just the surface level of human design. So in May of this past year, Phoebe, she's now my mentor, Phoebe Kuhn essentially had this masterclass that dug deep into human design on very specific areas and essentially teaches it in such a tangible way that I essentially started to lean into these things that I was learning, and the magic that was unfolding before my eyes at such a rapid pace was unreal. Truly unreal. I took what I learned into practice, and I went from lost, disconnected, and financially bound to completely aligned and connected to my life purpose, growing over 200% in my monthly income, and finally felt like I knew exactly what I am here to do, how to go about what I'm supposed to be doing, my life purpose, and that destiny, and how to make decisions in my life with significantly more certainty. So this leads me to share the biggest light bulb moment of my life, aka the secret to success. The secret to success is you. Period. It is you. My secret to my success is me. It is so individual. That is the secret. That's the secret. It's you. We are so unique that we have our own fingerprint. And I know a lot of you that have been following me for a while have heard me say this a million times. We are so unique that we have our own fingerprint. Nobody has my fingerprints. Nobody, right? So we need to take that in consideration with everything that we do, because we are so unique. Nobody else is like us. And if you've been following me for any decent amount of time, like I said earlier, you also know that my deepest belief, aside from transparency, is that one size does not fit all. That is something I said at the beginning. The woman that said what she said about jack of all trades, master of none, you look like a jackass. I call bullshit. I call absolute fucking bullshit. That does not work for everybody. And something that I've been realizing more and more is that every single program I've ever taken, every training that I've taken, I tried so hard to mirror or mimic what these people are doing, or taking what they say so to heart that I'm like, this is it. This is gold. This is the truth. And here's the thing. When you're learning from somebody and they're like, this thing works, this system works, this approach works, this marketing tactic works, this networking hack is the best. What you have to understand when people are saying these things is it works for them. And that was the biggest light bulb moment for me. Like I said, for several years now have been preaching the not one size fits all approach. With my negotiations masterclass, that's what I say a lot in that particular masterclass, not one size fits all, because negotiating is not one size fits all. It is all over the place. It's literally all over the place. There's so many variables and so many factors. Just like you have so many variables and factors about how you like to do things, what you are comfortable with, what your strengths, weaknesses, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself here, but it's worth probably repeating later on anyway, that you are the secret. It is you. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a little bit of the evolution of where I was at with my online business. Now, I'm going to be talking about my online business. Please know that, just as a side note, before I get into the online business aspects, in my freelance career, I actually saw quite a bit of success. But what was interesting is that I just naturally was leaning into my human design without even realizing it. And I'm going to explain that later on when we get into the slides about human design. I'm a manifestor. And so on the manifestor slide, I'm going to be sharing with you how that was connecting with my freelance career as a makeup artist. But for now, this is a little bit more like in the now that I'm sharing with you, so that it's a little bit more relevant, we'll say. So in my online business, in 6 years, It took over 20, I took over 20 trainings. I did programs, master classes, courses, boot camps, retreats. Like I've done so many things. Honestly, you guys, like low key, it's kind of embarrassing to say. It's really hot in here. I think our AC might be out. I hope to God, please, Lord, don't let our AC be broken. But going back to what I was saying, low key, about a couple weeks ago, I actually calculated the number, like my actual amount that I've invested in these online courses and stuff, and I stopped counting at 40,000. So in 6 years, roughly $40,000 later. Hello, hi, I'm Amber. And here's the thing. I would try every single marketing tip, trick, system, you name it. I tried everything. And as always, I was met with resistance. My online business is where I have experienced the most resistance. So this is exactly why I'm talking about the business aspect rather than my freelance career, because like I said, somehow by just a complete natural, I don't know, I was actually working with my design rather than against it. In my online business, I have always been working against it. And just so you guys know, this is for me where the most resistance shows up. So this is why I feel like I want to hone in on the online business, because you'll be able to see the evolution of the resistance that once was versus now. Okay. So next thing is that my best month as an online business owner was 1,800. And when I say that, I mean, as an online business owner, I cycle through launch modes. So I have different launches for different programs. I have different courses, things like that, different challenges, whatever. I've done many different launch forms. And the most successful month that I had in that particular launch, like previous launches, was 1,800. Now, here's the thing. 1,800 sounds like it's great. That sounds great. And I'm grateful for it. I love that I made that money. However, being in business for, at that point, 5 years and only hitting an $1,800 a month when I've been taking classes about having 6-figure launches was a huge, like I was super defeated, to say the least. So this does not include my freelance numbers. So please understand that the $1,800 is strictly for launches on my online business. But after going all in with my online business for 6 years, okay, this number was incredibly defeating. Incredibly defeating. This number was from the biggest launch that I had. And during that launch period, I actually was paying a coach like $1,000 a month to essentially coach me through the launch, and I still didn't hit. Like that was like the biggest month I did have at that time. So there was that, but I did not hit any, like I had, like the goals that I had wasn't even close. And I was confused and I lacked clarity. That was the disconnect. I was confused on what it was that I wanted to offer, confused on the content, and I lacked clarity. So that was kind of one of the biggest disconnects. And that's what I'm sharing with you guys today. How to get clarity, how to take away confusion, how to understand exactly where you're going and know like how to get there. So many of us experience lack of clarity, experience confusion on what it is that they want or what direction to take, what is best for us, right? Because what's happening is we're looking at all the other people and we're seeing what works for them and we're hoping that it's going to work for us. And then when it doesn't, it's this cycle of self-sabotage. Okay, so trust me when I say I've been there. I understand it if you are currently going through that or if you've recently been through that. And just so you know, the lack of clarity that I was having with my online business, I changed my handle 8 times. 8 times. Because I was just like, I don't know what to call it. Like, I don't know. It was a whole thing. I never listened to myself. Okay. I tried to mimic everybody else, their marketing approach, their branding style, their program setups, always asking everybody else's advice and never actually listening to myself or honoring myself for what I know I'm good at, what I know I like. I was always like, oh, I don't really like to do this, but you know what? The coach says to keep doing it because, and here's the thing. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do something you really don't actually like to do. And when I say that you don't like to, there's a difference between procrastination and kind of like putting something off because there's discomfort around it, like discomfort around leveling up, versus essentially doing something or not doing something because you're just essentially like you're scared. Like you just don't really know if it's going to work, if that makes sense. Like there's a difference between the two. So please know that, I'm not saying to be lazy here at all. There's a difference. You know what you like to do and you know what you don't like to do. So when you find something that you don't like to do and you keep putting it off, most likely you're putting it off because it doesn't mesh well with you. Like I said, just be careful with like the difference between understanding that is something that either is like a weakness point for you, that you really don't connect with, versus like you're putting it off because like you're scared to level up. You know what I mean? All right, then I started living out my human design, and this is where my entire life changed. My service sales at the salon grew 263% in 30 days, 320% in 90 days. Like I said earlier, my overall income, because I have several passive income streams, grew 200%. I finally felt seen and understood, and I felt fully confident. In July, I hit $2,500 with no system. So going back to here, that best month, $1,800 with every system in place with a coach being like, all right, Amber, tell me how it's going. No. And here's the thing that's mind blowing. When I started to really dig deep, not even dig deep, but like I dug deep into my human design, but I was living through it and with it rather than against it. And like I said, it was success coming into my reality at such a rapid pace that I was just like, what is happening? Because here's the thing, this $2,500 came from no like excessive amount of effort the way that this $1,800 did. That's why I'm saying there's a difference between doing something that actually is aligned with you, that you're connected with, and you are going to be met with least resistance, versus pushing through this pain of discomfort of something that you really don't like to do, and then you procrastinate or you get lazy about it or you just disconnect with it completely. And so energetically, nobody's actually going to align with what it is that you're putting out anyway, right? So with this $2,500, and I'll get into this later, I started doing human design readings because it worked so well for me that I started digging so deep into the very specific areas of my chart and sharing it with anybody and everybody that I could. And it was changing their lives. And I was like, I want to help as many people as I can. So in June, in June and July, it was the end of June and mostly July and August, I started doing human design readings. And that's where this $2,500 in July came from. I did not have a system in place. I'm telling you guys, I did not have a landing page. I didn't have a website. I didn't have anything in place for collecting funds. It was literally, hey, I'm doing these, human design readings. And then people started to just automatically send people my way. And I never asked for it. So what I'm saying here is I started to lean into my human design chart and live through it and but move forward with things that lit me up. I leaned into my strengths and I understood my weaknesses, and I just went about life in a completely different way. And I'm telling you, it is beyond me that I made $2,500 in July just from these human design things, and with no launch system, no cart. Like literally, I just had people Venmo me. Like there was nothing, no solid thing in place. It was wild. And then over here, when I did this launch here, I made $1,800. It was the best month I had, and I had every system in place with a coach coaching me along the way. So we're always so quick to take everybody else's advice and guidance, right? So, or taking all the quizzes in the world for, our personality quizzes and things that tell us who we are. But think about it. Where does confidence come from? Here's the thing. The reason why I did so well and I had such a big jump from, trying as hard as I possibly could to do a launch with all the systems in place by doing things that I absolutely fucking hated to do, versus moving forward with things that I was aligned with, I'm connected with, I'm leaning into these genius zones of mine that are mine. They're mine. And I'm not taking everybody else's advice. I'm doing my own thing, right? All of that boils down to the confidence, because think about it. Where does confidence come from? Experience. So when we are working on, say a certain, like a cat eye, okay? If like I honestly I'm not very good at cat wings, like the big wing liner, I'm just not good at them. I never have been. However, at the very bare, like literally within the first year of my career as a makeup artist and a hairstylist, I did this runway show, and I'll never forget the runway show required cat eye, like a winged eyeliner. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? I've never done this before. And I practiced on my sister, and my sister literally was like, are you sure you should be doing this? Because it was so bad. But then I got to the venue like that next weekend, and the first few wonky. They didn't look too good, but the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, I did, I think 20 some models, like all in a row. By the 20th one, I had those eyeliners off fleek. Experience essentially is what fuels confidence. So here's where I'm kind of bringing you back with my freelance career. After a certain amount of time doing something over and over again, I had experience, therefore confidence behind everything I was doing. Very many years in my career, negotiating was not something I was confident in. But by the time, probably around my 7th or 8th year, that was when I'd been negotiating so many times in all different areas of the industry that I was like, I have the experience. I know how to negotiate with my eyes closed. Now I teach a whole entire course on it. So experience is what is what fuels your confidence. And confidence is what essentially moves you forward and allows you to do things with your eyes closed. Now, the other element to hear about the experience and the confidence, okay? This is where the secret comes in, the secret of you. When you experience yourself and you know yourself without a shadow of doubt, you know what you're good at by design, by natural, just like energy, and you celebrate your strengths, and you also celebrate your weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with having weaknesses, and you understand yourself on such a deep level. What happens here is the experience of understanding yourself that fuels the confidence, makes it so that you know what to say yes to with your jobs. You know what to say no to. You know what rate feels good for you. You know how to make decisions. You know what path to take. You know what type of work. You know who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. You know the products that are amazing that you like versus the products that you absolutely don't really like. That's what fuels confidence, is the experience. And understanding yourself is the secret. Nobody knows you better than you do. And the thing is that we live life as if we're the last person that knows us the best, which is really backwards. It's really weird. We literally ask anybody and everybody for advice. We also take every quiz on earth about what our personality is, as if we don't know ourselves. We're so disconnected to ourselves. But once we get into our bodies, we really live through that energy space, our design, our human design, and our soul. That is when you become so unstoppable. You become a force, an unstoppable force. And I'm here to say to you, it's going to be absolute magic when you do. Okay? All right. I always get ahead of myself here. We've become so disconnected from ourselves that when we don't know who we are or why we do what we do, that stops us. It causes hesitation. It causes discomfort. It causes resistance. What our strengths are and how to utilize them to the fullest, what our weaknesses are, and also to understand what to avoid. Because that's something that some of us are very disconnected from, understanding what our weaknesses are and just simply to avoid them. There's nothing wrong with having weaknesses. It's great when you know what your weaknesses are, because that becomes a superpower in and of itself. I know what my weaknesses are now, and I avoid all those little bits that cause my weakness to be at play. Now, am I sitting here saying like everything's roses and I'm never gonna have a weakness again? No, I'm not saying that. I honor my weaknesses. They're going to show up plenty of times, but now I know, and I witness them, and I acknowledge them, and I accept them. What would happen if you knew yourself better than anybody else? That's a question to ask yourself. What would happen if you knew yourself better than anyone else? Now, obviously, I'm not here to say stop asking advice for people, because we're humans. We're going to always ask for advice. I still ask for advice. I mean, Sabrina, I don't know if she's still on here. I ask her for advice all the time. Just because I really honed into myself and my human design and my inner soul and genius zones doesn't mean that I don't ask for advice anymore. I'm not here to say that. What I'm here to say is we need to get back in connection with ourselves so that we don't second guess ourselves every single day, all day, every day, 24/7. And also to get connected with that soul's purpose, and so that we can get clarity on things. And in the meantime, like, get some other people's advice along the way. And sometimes we'll have amazing advice. You're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yes, let's move along with that. There's nothing wrong with taking everybody else's advice or guidance. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you have to keep yourself in mind at all times when you move forward with any bit of advice. When you're taking a training or a masterclass from somebody, you have to keep that in mind, that you're learning, you're hearing, you're taking advice from this, person or system or brand or whatever. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to take some of those bits and I'm going to kind of make my own little thing out of it, and then move forward with how I want to move forward with it. So my new approach now, I no longer give full-on advice to anybody without knowing their human design. Why? Because we are all completely different. Like I said at the beginning, we literally all have different thumbprints. So we personally, I know this is a little excessive here, but there's a very big part of me now, knowing what I know now, that I see that and I acknowledge that everybody's so unique that I can't give full-blown advice unless I know the person extremely well or I know their human design. So we're all completely different. We have different networking approaches. We have different comfort zones, strengths and weaknesses, communication styles, energy types. The list goes on and on. So I can't tell somebody how to network. The thing is back in the day when I was doing all of these online courses, like, I'm literally going through an entire overhaul with my online business and taking away like more than half of the trainings that I've done, because I used to teach from that place of like, this is how you network. And what I was doing was exactly what everybody else does, is teaching from a place of what has worked for me. And that doesn't work for, I don't want to say majority of people, but for a good percentage of people, that's not necessarily going to work. My networking style is literally like initiate. Like, I start all the conversations. I'm the approacher. Like, I always approach all of my networks. That does not work for everybody. We'll get in that in a second, but I can no longer say to every single person how I would approach networking and how it's worked for me, because it works exceptionally well for me, but that's not to say it's going to work well for anybody else. And I've had so many conversations with other fellow artists about this that are just like fellow friends, and I now know their human design chart. And I'm like, okay, so when you network, do you find that it's better this way or that way? And every single time when they lean into their energy type, according to human design, their networking has always worked better when they do that. So my energy type is to initiate, and that's always worked better for me. So promise yourself from here on out that you will take what you learn from anybody else, from whoever else or whatever else, and then ask yourself, how can I add my own flair to this? And is this correct for me? Please do yourself that service, because like I said, when somebody's teaching one approach, it is not a one-size-fits-all. They are sharing what has worked for them. And that's why I no longer am going to be creating content that's a one-size-fits-all. situation. I can't, like, I will, like, it makes me cringe at this point now. So how are you guys feeling so far? Let me know in the chat how you're feeling. I'm looking at the Facebook chat. How are you guys feeling right now? Feel free. I know we've been going for a little while. Do some stretches if you feel like you need to kind of move a little bit. How do you guys feel about the content so far? Let me know in the chat if you are in the Facebook group. For some reason, I'm really, really hot. I'm like, I don't know. I think the AC either was turned off or it's broken. So I don't know if I'm like glistening. Maybe I'm glowing. Am I glowing? I might be glowing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on. There's no comments so far. So now we're gonna go ahead and start getting into the human design. So human design, if you haven't already been able to tell, has changed my world. You know what's funny? I actually put this photo here. I don't know why, but I was like, I want to put this photo here. Awesome. Rosie says feeling good. Thank you. I don't know why I chose this photo, but I took this photo for a few months ago, and I was like, I'm gonna put this in the human design one. Anyways, human design has changed my world. I don't even feel like the same person, and I say that with complete honesty. Like I said before, I was just at a complete low point of my life back between January to April. Like I said, I've never experienced a depression like that. Full disclosure here, I've never really suffered from clinical depression or anything like that. I've always more so had like situational depression or like seasonal depression, never like full blown depression where for months I just could not get out of that funk. So that was a new experience for me. My anxiety was through the roof. And it was rough. It was really rough. But luckily I came across human design and I started actually implementing it, and it changed everything. So like I said, I feel like a completely different person. And because I had so much success at such a rapid rate, I started to share this work with freelancers around the world. So I started with like literally anybody that was in the room. I'd be like, sit down, I want to read your chart for you. This is so exciting. And I would do it with my friends, my family. I did the entire salon and all the stylists that I work with. And as of today, I've done over 100 chart readings. And that's only within like a 2-month period of time. So around 70 of those have been strictly clients in the freelance industry. So, so many of them have shared their feedback of the sessions and how it's helped them in their lives and careers, that it's mind blowing. So I do have some things that I want to show you of some testimonials. So, this person says it was so cool and interesting, almost felt like getting a reading from a different dimension. Based off your reading, I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. To be honest, I just feel more at ease. Super life-changing. Everyone should do this. I want to read this one right here. Here, you know what? I'll just read all of them, whatever. This person says, I had no idea what to expect. I was so pleasantly surprised. There were so many things that were confirmed and learned, knowing exactly the type of work environment that I need and what was expected. And what aspect of my work to focus on was a game changer. A friend of mine sent her friend Tanya, and she said, Tanya said it was so cool and loved it. You're on fire. And then this is the one that I like basically brought me to tears. Somebody reached out after a session that I did with her, and she said, I wanted to reach out and thank you so much for the reading. I've been implementing the advice from my chart, and it literally is wild how things have changed. Just by changing a tiny bit of my wording and marketing and getting immediate responses, including from people who haven't seen my post stories. So I don't know how that's changing the energy that I'm putting in the universe, that's calling clients or what, but it's amazing either way. I've changed how I manifest, and again, the results are practically instantaneous. I've shared your profile with my siblings and with the stylist at the salon that I work at, and my older sister, and one of the stylists both raves about, or the stylist, because she sent me some people too, raved about their readings. So I shared these testimonials because the amount of feedback, positive feedback that I got from sharing the information about your chart is phenomenal. Like a lot of you guys have been following me for a decent amount of time. You know, I've been doing like online education for a while, but like I said, remember what I was saying, I used to teach from that, like, this is what worked for me and I'm going to share this. This is what worked for me and now I'm going to share this. This work is so specific to you and only you that it's kind of inevitable that you're going to experience success from it. So every single person I've ever done a reading for has always given me amazing feedback. Now, with everything, there's, definitely going to be some like this. There's going to be more like, straight to the point. Some people are just like, yeah, it was amazing. Either way, the ratio of people that say amazing things about their chart and what they're finding out about their chart and how they're implementing it is unlike anything I've ever offered. So like I said, I'm just telling you, like, this chart system is unreal. It's unreal. So are you ready to learn about human design? Who is ready to learn about it? I can't wait to share this information. Some of you, actually, Rosie was one. She actually got a reading from me, so she knows. Rosie knows. Rosanna. Alrighty. So what is human design? So human design is a mix of astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah, and the chakra system. Okay. So essentially, we'll just put it in really straightforward terms for those of you that don't know. Why everybody in here knows astrology, but some of those systems maybe are unfamiliar to you. The best way I like to describe this is if astrology and the Enneagram or Myers-Briggs personality test had a baby. Okay, so this system essentially integrates a really beautiful harmony or balance of the kind of spiritual side of things, metaphysical side of things, with the scientific side of things. So in human design, not only do we take those energetics that are more non-tangible, and then we essentially take the science aspect of it, which is our human genetic codons, aka DNA. So your DNA is part of your human design. It's really amazing. Basically, I like to think of it as you are a unique snowflake. You're a unique puzzle piece to the matrix of the universe. And here's the thing. What happens is over time, we become very, out of alignment, disconnected from societal conditioning. So things like, as females, those of you that are watching that, are identify as female, we've been suppressed for how many years, right? So for example, say in a chart, like this is my chart, I have a defined throat. Over time, conditioning can cause me, even though I have a defined throat, and a defined throat just essentially means that I have strength in that center. I have strength in speaking. I have strength in communication. I love to speak. I like to talk. Like that, it's pretty self-explanatory. But societal conditioning can cause somebody to have a defined throat center to then not actually use their throat center, therefore go out of alignment, okay? All right, so really quick, I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible because there's still a lot to go through. There are 9 centers. So as you see here, all of those shapes, there's 9 centers, and they work very similarly to the 7 chakra system. There are 36 channels and then 64 gates. So here's the thing, you guys. There are 5 types, okay? So we're going to be talking about the 5 types today. There's 5 types. There's 12 profiles. There's 9 centers, 36 channels, 64 gates, and then you also have these things right here, the planetary system. So this is what makes human design so exceptional to any other chart system I have ever combined. I'm really big into the woo-woo world, like really big. So I'm obsessed with anything. Give me anything that's in the energy or metaphysical world, and I will just like eat it up. Human design, though, is unlike anything I've ever come by. Now that I know how to go into it and how to really like live through my design and lean into it and see how fast and rapid the success is from it when you actually lean into it. But the beautiful thing is that there's so many things, so many variables of you and your design. So your human design is just as unique as your thumbprint. Your human design is your thumbprint, essentially. Just think of it that way. So each of us have different variations of what personality traits. So just so you know, bear with me here, okay? It's going to get a little sciencey for a second. There are 64, essentially like strands, if you will, in the human DNA, okay? We'll just call it that. We'll call them personality traits. So with human design, there are 64 gates that connect with that human genetic codon system, the DNA system. And essentially, just so you can see here what we're looking at, you see all these numbers, and there's numbers 1 from 64, as you see in this head center. 64, 61, and 63 are not defined for me. Those are personality traits. So personality trait 64, personality trait 61, personality trait 63, I do not have defined. But personality trait 47, okay, and just so you know, personality trait number 47 essentially is the gate of realization and aha moments. It's in my sun sign. How many of you know how much I just love to share information and share moments of realization like I'm sharing with you today? That's what that means, okay? You can find out so just so you know, some of the very few things, because you can find out so many. There's so much I haven't even uncovered, it's unreal. But with your human design chart, you can find out your destiny, your inner truth, your strengths and weaknesses, genius zones, your genetic trauma. That was something that was really big for me. You are the genetic trauma that you are designed to essentially learn and heal from in this lifetime, your nutrition or digestion type, your environment type, your manifestation type, what unlocks your abundance keys, and seriously so much more. It's like wild. So without further ado, let's get into the juicy part of the training. So now's the time, you guys. Let me know. I know a lot of you here are manifesting generators, but anybody else that's joined us later on in life, if you're not a manifesting generator, let me know what you are in the chat. Okay, so I'm starting with projectors. Okay, so this is the point where you just want to make sure you do have your chart out, because we're just talking about the type. So whatever that type is, make a note of it. All right. So if you're watching the replay, feel free to pause it if you haven't gotten that. So just go to myhumandesign.com and get your chart. So just figure out what that type is. So I'm going to start with projectors. So projectors are 21% of the population. So this type is the most misunderstood, both by themselves and misunderstood by others as well. I have so many projectors that are in my very close circle. I have three. So I have two sisters that are projectors. My dad is a projector. My brother-in-law is a projector. My niece is a projector. A couple cousins are projectors. So I got a lot, and two of my really, really, really good friends are projectors. So I feel like I actually know projectors very, very well. I'm not a projector myself, but for some reason, I don't know what it is about projectors, but I feel like I know you so well. Projectors are, now here's the thing, listen closely. If you're a projector, please, please, please listen to this. Projectors are designed to only work between 4 to 6 hours at a time. This is where so many projectors, they don't understand themselves. Essentially with projectors, you do not have a defined sacral, meaning a defined life force energy center. And I don't know what it is about projectors, but you guys have a very enveloping auric field, energetic field, meaning you can take on other people's energies very, very easily. Okay, so now here's the thing. Here's the thing. I do not claim to be a human design expert. I am strictly just sharing with you guys the information that I've gathered and sharing it in a way that is very specific to how I've implemented it in my life, and also been able to help every single one of these 5 types with other people that I've helped. So please understand that I don't claim anything to that. So here's the thing with projectors. In essence, and this is not exact numbers, so like I said, just don't take everything so like, oh my God, 4 to 6 hours. But as an idea, just to paint a picture, we'll say 4 to 6 hours is your energy, and like your own energy of life force energy, meaning when you are working in an environment that has 12-hour days on a consistent basis, day in and day out, if you work more than 12 hours, chances are you're going to be so incredibly drained and you are going to experience burnout so fucking fast. we're talking like maybe earlier on in your life and career, you can go for a while, but we're talking you can hit a major burnout point within 5 years of your career, which is so early on. Like that, I mean, we're talking like, well, you can't retire within 5 years, you know what I mean? So it's just very detrimental for you as a projector. For some reason, I don't know what it is about projectors, but every single projector I've ever done a reading for has always had a complete disconnect with this particular part of their energy. Okay. So that's why I'm having you guys this first, because it's like, this is very detrimental for your energy. So television and film is not necessarily ideal for projectors. Okay. Instead, you guys should focus more on personal clients, working maybe more in the ad or commercial world that typically have shorter days. Now, if you really do love and just thrive in TV and film, you would just essentially do better with the shorter term projects. So I wouldn't do a television show that's 6 months, where your average, hourly time is 15 hours a day, right? So just be careful with that. I'm going to tell you a really quick side story here. The two projectors that are really good friends of mine that work in the industry, one experienced a really, a really terrible experience with burnout and exhaustion, to the point where she basically had she had a breakdown, a major nervous breakdown. And she pretty much no longer works in that industry anymore because she's just so over it. And she just hit essentially a major burnout point as a projector. Now, my other friend, it's not as sad of a story or like a downer of a story. It's kind of funny. She's actually my closest friend, and she's a projector. And I always would hire her as my key for anything I department headed in. Like 90% of things that I had a key on, she was on it. And every single time we would be on set, and around hour 8, she'd fall asleep on set. And I'd be like, Gladys, what are you doing? Wake up. Why are you sleeping right now? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was actually truly, genuinely concerned. I thought she had narcolepsy. And I told her to go to the doctor. She went to the doctor, nothing. Now what we know about her as a projector, it's literally because she was working completely and utterly against that energy type. Projectors only have 4 to 6 hours roughly of their own energy. If they work beyond that, it's borrowed energy, meaning by the time that they get home, they're exhausted. Or in Gladys's case, they just fall asleep on set. Or in my other friend's case, I don't want to say her name because it's a little bit more of a sensitive, scenario. She had a nervous breakdown. And this is very, very common for projectors, because projectors try to, because you guys so easily take on everybody else's energies, you try to act as if you're a generator, which generators have endless amounts of energy. And so pretty much all types try to act like a generator, but projectors especially. So they try to just push through the dips in energy. So to get around this, if you are a projector, the best thing for you to do is just make sure that you give yourself complete, utter alone time every 4 to 6 hours. If you can, maybe on your lunch break, maybe take a little nap. Okay, so your strengths as a projector are overseeing, managing, holding space, deeply understanding people. That's why projectors do so exceptionally well at being one-on-one, or maybe in the bridal space where it's just a much shorter date. Something that's just shorter, the teams aren't as big, because projectors are so affected by everybody else's energies. You guys get drained the fastest if you're in a big group of people. Okay. Weaknesses are keeping boundaries. Projectors are notorious for having a lot of issues, not issues, I don't want to say issues because that sounds negative, but you have a lot of resistance to actually keeping boundaries, working too many hours, not knowing when the energy that they take home is yours. And also, last but not least, projectors that also tend to be, you guys tend to be on the more shy side. And for some reason, I don't know what it is about you guys. I always know a projector when I see one. And I'm never wrong. I'm never wrong about it. I always I can see you guys from a mile away. I don't know what it is about your aura, but I pick up on it so quick. But naps are your best friend. like I was just saying, if you can just, no matter what area of the industry or of freelancing you're doing, 4 to 6 hours is key. That's going to be your energy and your most energetic self. Once 6 to 8 hours starts coming around, that's when you start dipping and borrowing other people's energies. So yeah. Oh, this is I meant to put projectors. Sorry, typo again. Oopsies. Famous projectors are Paul McCartney, John F. Kennedy, Barack Obama, Brad Pitt, Princess Diana, and Marilyn Monroe. So you guys got some really great people in your little circle of projectors. All right, so reflectors, you are 1% of the population. So if there's any projectors, if there's any reflectors, let me know. Reflectors, like I said, you're 1%. Extremely rare, obviously. All centers are open, making this type the most rare. Reflectors are highly and deeply empathic because they see people for who they are in a very, very deep way. I work with a reflector at the salon that I work at, and it's wild. Like, she literally is the epitome of a reflector. Like, when she and I were first starting, she started working. She moved from Jersey to here, and I want to say in April or May. And so one of the first encounters that we had, she was like, "Oh my God, I was what'd she say? She was like, "Oh my God, I was doing something." What was it that she was talking about the previous like place that she lived in, and there was like a ghost. She felt like there was some weird energy and that there was a ghost. And so that's why one of the reasons why they moved. And she felt like this new place that she lives in is really great. Reflectors, I share that story because she was literally leaning into her reflector self. And it's not to say that people that are not reflectors can't also feel that. That's not to say that at all. But reflectors are just on a completely different level. So and just like another little side note here, just to really bring this home, there was one day that I came in and I just felt off. I felt really weird that day. But I just came in, I walked in. I didn't feel like I walked in any different than I usually do at the salon. But I walked past her, and I just went back to the back. She was with a client. And she comes in the back. She's like, "Girl, what's happening? What's going on?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Girl, I can tell what's going on. Or is something wrong? I just know." And at that point, I already read her chart. She's like, "I'm a reflector, I know." And so I was like, "Dude, that's wild." I didn't think I was acting any different. She's like, "Well, you really weren't, but I could just tell something's different with you." So reflectors are extremely sensitive, very, very, very sensitive to all energies, not just people, like all energies. With every center being undefined for reflectors, this makes them experience and take on everybody else's energies, being their fears, their passions, thoughts, emotions, therefore making you the biggest target for people to request advice from. Now, here's the thing, going back to this friend of mine, honestly, like, she gives the best advice. Like, really, she really does. It's wild. It's cool to see it all coming out in real time for me, because reflectors are so rare. I don't think I've ever actually come across a reading that I've done for a reflector, because they're just so rare, besides Lisa at the salon. And so it's cool to actually work with her, because I see it week in and week out. So she literally does that. Like, I for some reason, there's something about her energetically. I'm just responding to her energy that I take what her advice is completely to heart. And basically what they're doing as a reflector, you are reflecting back to each person like a mirror. So you probably hear all the time as a reflector, "I feel like you really understand me." The biggest struggle for reflectors is setting boundaries, just like projectors, and truly knowing when to dip out or detach from the day or its experiences and everybody else around you. You're highly sensitive to the moon and its cycles, and with that, also sensitive to the planetary system. You'd be in the best interest to start focusing on moon cycles and seeing how much you're influenced by it day in and day out. The best type of work for reflectors is smaller teams like projectors. Reflectors and projectors kind of have very similar tendencies for their work environments. But it's not to say that reflectors, can't work long hours. It's just better to be in smaller groups, just so that you can kind of limit the amount of people that are in your energetic space, because reflectors are completely open. completely open. So they take on everybody else's energies. Strengths, deeply empathic, see the truth before anybody else, and picks out what everybody misses. So that's something that's really, really big strengths for reflectors. Weaknesses are boundaries, even more so than projectors, understanding what's your energy versus others, and a major people pleaser. Famous reflectors are Sandra Bullock, Michael Jackson, and H.G. Wells. So hello, and high five to reflectors, because y'all are extremely rare. All right, so next up is manifestors. Hello, manifestors. I think Sydney, I know you said that you're a manifestor. Hello. It's so great to see other fellow manifestors. All right, so I'm a manifestor. I'm a manifestor. We'll get into the strategies later on tomorrow, but 7 to 9% of the population. Now, here's the thing with human design. Percentages, like, they kind of range, so it just depends on who you talk to. In some books and resources, I've come across 7%, and in others, I've come across 8% or 9%. But manifestors, we are the initiators and the innovators. Another kind of archetypal name for us is trailblazers of the universe. And so we are designed to start things and come up with ideas and initiate conversations and networking. Now, here's the thing that I want to say. First and foremost, I want anybody that's not a manifestor or a manifesting generator, please understand that you can still manifest. It is not to say that you are not a manifestor. I low-key am kind of like butthurt, not butthurt, but it kind of a little salty that they chose the word manifestors. What we should really be called is just initiators. We should just be called initiators, because that's essentially at the very base of what it is that we do, what that strength is initiating. All of you guys, all other types can manifest as long as you are living within your design and that like soul alignment. So just understand that, okay? Now, with that being said, it comes off as manifestors manifest quicker. And the reason why is because energetically speaking, that what we do with this initiation, like the initiating and the innovation, is we get our what is called urges. And when we actually initiate, we are always met with least resistance. So that's why it comes off like we manifest really fast, faster than others. Like, looking back on my life, a lot of people have said to me, oh my God, you always manifest exactly what you want. And other manifestors that I've talked to in the past that have kind of been very aligned with their, their goals and dreams and manifestations have said the same thing. So it comes off like we manifest really, really fast, but it's just when we're in alignment and we actually listen to those urges, it's just instantaneous, really. Now, here's where the energy of the manifestor comes in. That's really backwards. And this is like the biggest mind-blowing moment for me. Our energy is a 20-80 rule, meaning we should work or put energy out only 20% of the time and rest 80% of the time. And for me, that was so fucking backwards that, like what I was saying to you guys earlier, I was working endlessly. In the freelance world, I was always working long hours, and then I was coming home and then working on my business. So remember what I said, I would, for the business aspect in freelance world, didn't really experience too much resistance. I definitely had plenty of struggles with it, but I always kind of like, if I initiated something, I got it. If I wanted a job, I got it. With my documentary, I initiated almost every single interview. I initiated every single one of those interviews, got the interview. V-Nail, I initiated V-Nail. She said yes. I initiated inviting Erin Carter McCash. She said yes. Joel Harlow, I initiated, it's like this whole thing. So when I have ever initiated anything, I've always been able to manifest it pretty much instantaneously. So it was always so confusing for me that in my online business, I couldn't initiate something without having major resistance. The reason why is because I was working on my online business aside from working 80-hour weeks. So I was working completely against this 28 rule, completely against it, okay? Amongst other things too, but this is the biggest part. So energetically speaking, manifestors are only supposed to work 20% and then rest 80%. Like I said, it sounds backwards as fuck. But when I learned this about myself and I started taking back the amount of work that I was putting in and actually resting, I tell you guys, everything, my world changed. I made more money with less effort. So It's wild. Most of the world tries to act or work like generators. The only people that can actually work like generators, aka work, go, working 18-hour days, are generators. It's the only people that can do that. So literally only generators can do that. As manifestors, when we don't allow big rest periods, we can get overwhelmed, burn out, and always experience major blocks and resistance. We are never, so honestly, I was doing pretty much 90% work and 10% rest. I'll put it this way. I took my first vacation last September. Workaholic. Hi, I'm Amber. My name is Amber. I'm a workaholic. We are never to be, we are never meant to feel or be boxed in. So please know that if you're a manifestor, Sydney, if you're still on here, anytime we feel boxed in, it ain't it. Say goodbye and move the fuck on. I can't tell you that enough. Move on. Do not do anything that makes you feel boxed in. This will always result in rebellion or feeling of immense pressure that weighs us on in a major way. Anytime I've ever just dealt with somebody or a project or say a brand or a company that I worked for where I felt boxed in, that shit did not last very long. And it was always a nightmare. I hate being boxed in. And to be honest, I think a lot of us don't like being boxed in, but for manifestors, it's even more so. We get angry. Our energy type allows us to do really well with being a department head. Now, here's the thing. Please hear me out that department heading looks different for everybody. So when I say department head, I mean in the sense of like, we're here to initiate the meetings. We're here to initiate the character development and pass things off. So the 20-80 rule for manifestors, essentially what we need to do is do 20% of the work and then delegate 80% of the work. So we work very well as department heads. Or let's see, what else did I put here? Leading teams where we can delegate. So Sydney, she literally led a team that I was actually a part of with a runway show. She was literally working in her element as a manifestor. So what was the other thing? So we're not designed to do all of the work. We're here to, when we actually delegate and let other people help us, that is when we just it's just heavenly for us. So now with the 20-80 rule, people are like, some of the people I've talked to about this, like, well, how do I determine like that? Is it like 20% of the day? Here's the thing. You can do it in however you feel. I mean, manifestors, we have a really weird cycle called like urges and rest periods. And it fluctuates, but you can do it any way that feels good to you, 20% of the day or 20% of the week, 20% of the month, 20% of the year, whatever feels good to you. So you're going to go through different periods of life. The beginning of my career, I was ready to go all the time. So resting for me, I was like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to rest. I want to go. Trying to work as a generator. Anyways, strengths here, starting anything, initiating connections, being innovative. Now, here's the thing. We are here to start things and initiate things. So what I was saying at the beginning with what I was going to share with you guys today, anytime I initiated anything, I initiated a job, I initiated a conversation, I initiated, say, a relationship, it always has worked for me, not against me. So manifestors, that's a strength of ours, is to start things. We're shit at finishing things. No offense. Okay. I'm a manifestor too. So I'm calling myself out here. Being ourselves has been really difficult because growing up as a manifestor, we're constantly being boxed in because people are like, oh my God, just sit the fuck down. All right. Because we like to do what we want to do. And so just by natural, human nature, parents are like, how do I contain this manifestor? And so we tend to end up getting a lot of conditioning around kind of being hushed and pushed down. It's essentially being told, like, take it a notch down, or hey, like, you can't do this, you have to do it this way. So what can end up happening as manifestors, we don't, it takes a long time for us to actually be ourselves. Working environments that box us in are weaknesses for sure, and also experiencing major resistance when we don't inform before doing, which I'll get into that tomorrow. Another weakness of a manifestor is finishing things. I don't know why I didn't type that. It's like that's the biggest weakness that we have is finishing things is so hard for us. So I'm here to say to all the manifestors that are watching right now, live or the replay, manifestors are not designed. We're not designed to finish things. So if you have done what I've done in my life and always tried to finish everything, but then just went in a self-sabotage cycle because you couldn't, it's literally not meant for us to finish things. We can finish things. It's not to say that don't ever finish anything in your life. It's not to say that. It's just that when we delegate the duties, the tasks, things that need to be done, it always, like with rainbows, works better for us. So when we always try to do it all ourselves, start to finish, a lot of the times there's like a piece that still needs to be done. I honestly, the amount of things that I've started and never finished is ungodly. So as a manifestor, all my fellow manifestors, you have to let me know if you resonate with that as well. All right. So manifestors, famous manifestors, Jennifer Aniston, Adele, Johnny Depp, Donald Trump, Al Gore, and Hitler. Woo! Go Hitler. Fellow manifestor. Now, here's the thing with manifestors, just to like really bring home the trailblazer aspect of this. A lot of world leaders are manifestors or were manifestors. So that's just kind of like to paint a picture. Manifestors, we're here to start things. We're just here to get things going with innovative ideas and initiations and things like that. All right, generators. Apparently, I saved the best for last because so many of you guys are manifesting generators, and I actually left that for the last. So anyways, generators, you guys are 37% of the population. You guys are known as the Energizer Bunny. Everybody wants to be you. Everybody wants to be a generator. You have the biggest auric energy and are a force to be reckoned with and are phenomenal at finishing any project as long as you feel connected to it. So what I was just saying about manifestors are the complete opposite of generators. So just to let you guys know, manifestors and generators, in my experience, work like a glove together. The reason why is because manifestors are, phenomenal at starting things. Generators are phenomenal at finishing things. So when they work together and you're good, it's literally like yin and yang. So really quick, I do want to just say, like I was saying with the manifestors, generators, if you have been hard on yourself for a majority of your life because you can't start something, that is a very common theme for generators, that they can finish things with flying colors, but they can't start things for shit. Understand that the weakness point for you is to start things. Understand that that is a weakness. And when you understand that that's a weakness, you can let that like weight off of your shoulders that you're not designed to start things. You can start things. There's a strategy to it, which we'll go in tomorrow, but just understand, take that weight off your shoulders that you're just designed to finish things in a very strategic way, which we'll go over tomorrow, but let that off of your shoulders that all the things you wanted to start that you didn't, it's okay. It is okay. You're a generator. And just by natural design, generators are not they just don't start things. It's just not what you're designed to do. You have the strongest energy that lasts the longest. You are the most magnetic just by like sitting in a room. Honestly, like you have the biggest auric energy, making generators essentially, in my opinion, the best for TV and film due to the long hours. Generators, all my generator friends that are in the industry of hair and makeup, especially in the production world, they can go all fucking day. So they're built. You guys are built to work long hours and be fine as long. Here's the key. As long as it's something you're connected to. The generators that I know that have worked on some bullshit project that they don't actually feel fueled by or fulfilled by, they drain out pretty quick. Now, listen to me when I say, when generators drain out and experience burnout, that is a major red flag. And the reason why is because you guys have such strong energy fields just by sitting there, okay? So if and when a generator experiences burnout or, exhaustion, that's a big indicator that you are working on something that's completely disconnected, or you yourself are completely out of alignment. So it's a very big indicator for you guys. Be mindful of setting your boundaries of when you're truly feeling tired, because it takes a lot for you to be tired. As generators, you guys love to chat. You're like the conversationalists of the universe, and you love to respond to outside energy. And like I said, you make a great conversationalist. Now, going back to this synergy of manifestors to generators, that true like yin and yang, your energy type is the complete opposite, which is 80% energy, 20% rest period. Now, here's the thing with these percentages, please understand, I'm not saying this is not textbook resource information. This is just kind of painting a picture of what the ratios are. So just to like give example here, 80% energy, 20% rest period, meaning you can go the longest. And with that, when you don't expel your energy fully each day, you have trouble sleeping. And the reason why is because you get restless. You're not expelling the 80% energy, quote unquote, before you're ready for bed. 20% rest period, it's kind of like with that period, that rest period, it's kind of like, for example, when you do actually give yourself a vacation, you still have that just natural energy to still want to do a lot of things. Get things done while you're on vacation, or be very active while you're on vacation, so on and so forth. But you still need to make sure that you honor a rest period, because generators, you guys are kind of notorious for just going all in all the time, 24/7, 365. So just be gentle with yourself and really get, like, honestly, the generator that I'm thinking of right now, she literally, like, I'm just there. She would do back to back, like 24-hour things, where she would have a 12-hour day on this set and then go immediately to a next set. And we were working together on a project, and I think she did that like 4 times during, and I was like, how the hell are you alive? So anyways, she just fucking pulled through with it. So anyways, your strengths are holding conversations. You guys are conversationalists, like really true conversationalists. Your strengths are getting shit done, like literally finishing something out, seeing something through, working the longest, because you have the, as long as it's with something that, is really connecting to you, finishing things, responding to existing energy. So the other thing too, another strength that you guys have is organization. You guys are, every generator that I know is like, organized as fuck. You guys have everything in its place. You guys have everything that's clean. It's like very, very typical. It's not 100% of the time, but very, very common for generators to be very strategic and have everything in place and very organized. Weaknesses is getting something started. Remember, like I said, understand that it's a weakness, and that's fine. It's okay. Understand it, accept it, and then, learn from that. Another weakness, not knowing what to finish. Not expelling your energy before bed or giving yourself actual rest. A lot of weaknesses there. Burnout for you and your body is screaming for rest. I'm sorry, burnout for you is your body screaming for rest. And please don't ignore that. Famous generators are Oprah. Think about Oprah. She's a conversationalist. She literally holds, interviews, and she's a powerhouse. She's always working. So generators, Muhammad Ali, powerhouse. Beethoven, Madonna. And generators. All right, you guys. So now moving on to manifesting generators. So those of you that are with me live right now, congratulations. We're finally to your part, manifesting generators. So you guys are 33% of the population. You are unique in that you have both energies of the manifestor and the generator. This is why I left you guys last, because I wanted to explain the manifestor, the generator, and then the manifesting generators. So here's the thing with manifesting generators. Because you can both start and finish things, manifestors can't finish things, they can only start things. Generators can't start things, they can only finish things, essentially. Manifesting generators can do both. There's a strategy behind it, but you guys can do both. So you can start things just like the manifestors, but you can also finish things like the generators. Here's the thing, it might cause you to dip your feet in so many different projects at once and wonder why you can't finish every single one of them. So it's kind of like you get those ideas and those essentially the urges that manifestors do to start something new, and like, oh, I have this and I want to start. Oh, this is a fun hobby I want to do. Oh, this. And not to say that none of the other types experience squirrel brain, because we all do. That's a human thing. But manifesting generators experience squirrel brain a little bit deeper than the rest of us. And the reason why is because you guys are just so multifaceted and multi-passionate. So it's kind of like you're always wanting to try all these things. And sometimes what can happen is the things that you start begin to pile up. And because you don't know which one to fully finish out, the generator in you wants to finish everything, but doesn't know which one to finish. Okay, so to eliminate that overwhelm, only finish the projects that excite you the most, and then come back to the ones later. Don't do what's logic, okay? We're going to talk about logic tomorrow, but don't put logic into what you need to finish. So if you have a new idea today, but you have 5 things before, and logic is like, I should probably start this project number 4 before I start this project number 8 over here that I just had today. But if you are the most excited today about project 8 that's come to you today, finish project 8. Trust me when I say that, okay? Learning patience is your life's challenge, okay? Manifestors, you are just like, woo. Manifestors, like I said, we're seen as like we manifest really quickly. So we have this really like very fast-paced energy, but manifesting generators, it's like you're amplifying that with the generator aspect of you. So it's kind of like you guys like essentially, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but it's like you guys can cut corners and just be phenomenal at everything you do because like you do it faster than anybody else, if that makes sense. Learning, so like I said, learning patience is a life challenge for typically. When you become patient, this is when the universe will send you abundance in a big way. There's a particular person, I will leave her unnamed, that I've talked to in the past about her feeling impatient about work coming to her. And I told her, just be patient. It's going to come in the moments of silence for you. It's going to come in the moments of actually giving yourself rest period. So you guys are always wanting to just keep going and going and going and going. So that's why it's like the generator in you has all this energy and you're like, go, 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 go. But the manifestor in you wants to start all of these things and begin and initiate and innovate. So it's kind of like when you're not working, you're like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. What do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? I gotta start something. I gotta work on a project of my own. Like, so that's just something you have to really like understand. You still have a rest period, and a lot of manifesting generators that maybe don't know this about themselves don't give themselves that proper rest period, or we'll call it even like a little bit of patience in between. Trust that waiting allows you to. Trust that waiting allows what is truly meant for you to come to you in a big way rather than forcing, okay? You are essentially what the human design community calls a manifestor in waiting. That's another kind of way of explaining what a manifesting generator is. And here's the thing. Almost all types of jobs are good for manifesting generators. So working one-on-one works great. Working in big groups, so like generators, you do just fine, and like the bigger the production, the better. Whereas like reflectors and projectors, you want to go in a smaller group. Manifestors, you just want to make sure that you are in a position where you can kind of do the majority of the work that you really, really do well, and then delegate out. Manifesting generators can do any of those. They can be makeup department heads, keys. They can be in the bridal world. They can have their own salon. Not that anybody else can't have their own salon. I'm just saying, like, manifesting generators kind of have the energy that goes, like, you can start and finish things. You can work with small groups or big groups. Now, here's the thing that I want to say. This goes for all types. Now that I've explained all of the types, please understand your specific chart is going to say even more about you than just these 5 types. These are this is just your energy type on a surface level. There's so much more that goes deeper into your chart that had like so many facets and variables. So please understand that. So for example, manifesting generator, I'll just say her name is Sabrina. She's a manifesting generator. However, her chart, the deeper aspects of her chart indicate she's supposed to be very much more individual and focused on maybe 1 to 2 or 3 people. So she primarily works in the bridal world, but essentially her sun gate is in guiding people. So she does exceptionally well at being more of a person that's teaching and guiding people or holding space for people or having like this more intimate setting with the people. So just understand that your chart and the very deeper aspects of it are going to showcase a little bit more. But these are the general concepts of what works really well with each type's energy force and energy field. Okay. So strengths for a manifesting generator, being multi-passionate, it's a strength of yours. Okay. But you are able to do it all yourself, start to finish. And you guys do things faster than most people. Weaknesses is not finishing what you started, wanting to do it all, and not giving yourself proper rest period. Famous manifesting generators, and this is why I chose this particular photo, because a lot of majorly famous musicians are manifesting generators. So George Lucas, he's on a singer, but George Lucas, big deal. Elton John, Britney Spears, Mother Teresa, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga. And actually, what's his name? Shawn Mendes. So that just kind of like are some of the people that are manifesting generators. All right, are you guys loving this? Are you just loving it? We're almost coming to the end, wrapping it up. Day 2, we'll be going over all things marketing. So tomorrow, we're going to dig deep into each of the types and how you communicate and how you can essentially take your strategy, it's called strategy in your chart, and utilize that with your marketing and your messaging and your communication. Because here's the thing, not all of us should be marketing the same way at all. So please understand the amount of time that I've taken marketing classes from who the fuck ever. I no longer will tell people how to market themselves unless I know their human design. And we're going to go over that tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. Let's go ahead and stop sharing. How do I do this? Stop screen share. All right. Hello. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and Amber says she's over in YouTube. My name is Amber and I'm a workaholic too. That's hilarious. And so I love it. Maybe Amber's, just Amber's in general. Sydney. So Sydney is a manifestor, like she said earlier. She cannot stand being boxed in. It's why cubicle life ain't for me. Absolutely. And that was even when I felt the most aligned in my life. There you go. Another thing from Amber, my middle name is procrastination. Oh my gosh. Amber says, I've done that literally a 36-hour day, no rest, just a shower in between. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then Amber also says her patience, that patience is her weakness. So she, I believe, if I recall, she's a manifesting generator. So this person, I'm not seeing the name, but I identify with the parents and teachers trying to contain my initiating personality as a child. There you go. Who's this? I didn't get to see this. Let me see. I have it up here. Where is it? Oh, Kim. Cool. Kim, did you say that you are a manifestor as well? Just going through these. Rosie says, woohoo, awesome. Let's see. Clarity is my word right now. 60-hour weeks are brutal. Rosie says, I'm a full-time makeup artist and I quit my 9-to-5 last week, starting esthetician school in 2 weeks. I'm excited. That's amazing. Congratulations, Rosie. Kim says, oh, didn't know you were in Denver. I go there a lot. 60-hour weeks were brutal. Yes. Oh my God. If you're next time you're in Denver, let me know, girl. Yeah. Kim says, really surprised. I know it says that it doesn't show on my screen what the name is, but I am seeing this on the screen here that it's Kim Wood. Really surprised as a manifesting generator being fast at tax because I feel like personally I struggle with this. Well, here's the thing. The really cool thing about this, Kim, a lot goes into your chart Some of it is literally your chart. So the overall common energy type is the type. So I didn't explain this earlier, and I apologize, but there's 5 types, okay? Just like there's 12 zodiac signs. So it's kind of like, I'm a Virgo. I'm not organized. I'm not organized at all. But that's like the number one thing that people talk about with Virgos, is that they're extremely organized. So there's going to be aspects that maybe you don't necessarily connect with. However, when you go really, really, really deep into your design, into your chart, that is when you'll uncover all these other aspects that connect with your energy type. So I hope that that kind of helped you with that. Are there any questions now that I'm opening the door for questions before we completely conclude day 1? I'm so excited. This has been really, really fun for me. Can you guys tell that I'm just absolutely obsessed with this work? My what's it called, is my mascara is starting to get on the top of my lids because I'm pretty much sweating right now, but it looks kind of like I'm glowing, kind of. All right, let me know, you guys. I'll wait around a couple more minutes for any questions. But before I, as I'm waiting for any questions to come through, wanted to remind you guys, if you had any moments of clarity, of aha moments, of a light bulb moment, please share. Take a screenshot of it and share what it was, what that light bulb moment was for you, and tag me in it so that you can get into the drawing for tomorrow. I will be announcing who the winner is, not tomorrow, but on day 2. Day 2 is in 4 days from now. That somebody is going to be winning a mentorship session. Wow, that's hard to say. Mentorship session. A lot of shushes. A mentorship session with me. I still can't say it right. Or a Reiki healing. You kind of are going to be able to choose whichever you want between a human design chart reading, a mentorship session with me, or a Reiki healing session. That's what the winner is going to win between now and day 2 in the live portion of this. Like I said, if you're watching the replay on the replay page, you will still have the opportunity to get a monthly drawing for whatever that month's theme is. So I'm going to be putting books in there. I'm going to be doing access to courses and programs and things like that. A lot of really great stuff's coming up. All right, so it looks like there's no questions. I'm so surprised that there's no questions because it's a lot of information that I just went over. We're hitting right about the 2-hour mark, so that's pretty much exactly where I thought it was going to hit. So definitely excited that I stayed within that 2-hour range because I was a little nervous there because I knew I was going over a lot of content. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here for day 1. It's been so exciting. Oh, here we go. Here's a question. Explain how to enter. Okay, so Rosie asks, how do you enter? So for the people that are in the live boot camp, meaning from now until September 22nd of 2022, okay? For the live portion, what you're going to do is you're just going to take a screen grab of whatever, what you're seeing here, or going back and taking a screen grab and then essentially posting it on Instagram stories, sharing the aha moment or sharing a moment of clarity, or basically like just your biggest takeaway, we'll say. What your biggest takeaway was from the training, and then tag me in it. And that is how essentially you enter. Now, for those of you that are doing, that are like watching this way later, way after, the actual live portion, it's going to be put up on a replay page, like a landing page. For those, essentially, you will post the same concept where you post a screenshot and then you share what your biggest takeaway is, and then you tag me, and that's going to be a monthly drawing. So I hope that explained it a little bit better, a little bit more straightforward. I hope I didn't like make it more confusing. But so say for instance, right now you're watching the replay in a couple of days from the actual day, you still can have right now the entry period. After this boot camp, like say October and November and December of 2022 or beyond, if you're watching at that point, that's when your drawing will go into the monthly drawing. If you're watching between now, September 8th, through September 22nd, the replay, if you're watching the replay in any capacity or live, then the drawing goes in for the current giveaway. Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought here because I'm thinking about a couple of things at the same time. So that is the drawing for a session with me. Whether it's a mentorship session, you essentially get the choice between a mentorship session with me or a Reiki healing session with me or a human design chart reading. So that is what we're giving away for today's giveaway. So enter away, post away, tag away. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear from you guys. I love doing this. All right. So if there are no more questions, I feel like I went over a lot of information. You know, if you guys do have questions, and right now, like typically whenever I do, you know, human design information, because it's so much all at once, a lot of times questions kind of come and they trickle in rather than right away. So if you do have questions in a day or two, feel free, go in the Facebook group and just post a question. Make sure you tag me in it so that I can see it, and or direct message me on Instagram. And I will answer the question that you have about human design or anything like that. So you can ask away there. I am so sad I missed the live. When will the replay be available? What a great question, Jennifer. The replay essentially is available right away. So just so you know, Jennifer, you're here right now. You will essentially, I would give it a couple minutes because Facebook has kind of like it's not programming, a processing time. So I would say once I end this live, about 5 minutes from then, you can immediately just jump into the Facebook group and go to the media section where it says like photos, videos, media, or whatever. And the replay is going to be immediately available, and or the replay on YouTube will also pretty much immediately be available for watching. So you'll be able to watch it right away. So great question. And that is all that I have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me and being here live, for those of you that were able to make it live. And thank you for those that are watching the replay. You are welcome. Oh, thank you. That was a very sweet thing to say. And I will look forward to seeing you guys on day 2. Day 2 is going to be happening on September 12th, for those of you that are here in the live boot camp. And I can't wait to see you guys next time. And also feel free, start to like audit where you're at energetically in your life with your career. Are you, working against your energy type? Are you working with it? And in the upcoming days, the next 4 days until I see you guys next, start working with it and see how it works for you. And then when we come back to day 2, we're going to be able to see what you guys started to uncover and unveil for yourself. You're welcome, Sydney. Oh, I'm so glad. Sydney says, thanks, Amber. So much great info. She's over on YouTube. So thank you. Thank you, Sydney. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I will see you in a few days from now. And I guess happy manifesting, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye.